Last week, a lot was made of a $6 million piece of IKEA furniture that the Leafs have. That it takes assembly. Assembly is required.
All the parts are there, but you don't have the instructions to put it together or something like that. I think was the exact wording.
Yeah.
Some clown.
I would. Yeah. Someone. I would much rather have I guess it's technically $7 million, but it's a 6-point-something million cap hit of William Nylander. I would much rather have that than what $9 million healthy scratch.
Yeah, Jeff Skinner.
Skinner.
See, the thing about IKEA furniture is that it may not be the best piece of furniture you're ever going to buy, but it still does a damn good job of doing exactly what you need it to do. And it's not hard to put together. And it's pretty quality stuff for the most part. It's cheap, but it holds up for a long time. I'm sitting in an IKEA chair. This motherfucker never dies. Yeah, those like Rocky chairs if you're on the video. Those little woo chairs.
Well, let's before we talk about the Leafs, because I think Buffalo might be the biggest news. It might be. I don't know.
Yeah, Buffalo just sucks.
Yeah.
They are currently scratching Jeff Skinner for the third straight game. Okay. Jack Eichel says
seems like $9 million well spent.
Jack Eichel says he can't go tonight. Jeff Skinner says, does that mean that Ralph Kruger? Absolutely not. That courtesy of Dmitry Filipovic. Like, Buffalo is a complete tire fire at this point because you look at the contracts that they have going forward. It's Kyle Okposo, Colin Miller, Jeff Skinner, and Jack Eichel. There's only one of those that's good, and that's Eichel. And then Colin Miller's fine, but he's overpaid.
It's not good. He's not good.
Victor Olofsson, that he's good, but like when Buffalo is ready to be good,
everyone will be gone.
Exactly. So I want to play a game to start off the podcast. Jack Eichel or blank, insert team. Would your team...
Because let's preface this. He wants out.
He wants to win. Yeah.
The voices are there, and
he
it
may
seems
not be
as though
vocal
he
about
doesn't
it.
want to be in Buffalo.
Yeah, but
no.
Yeah.
He's not going to come out and say, "Oh, I don't want to."
He might not be as vocal,
but
you can tell. But it's kind of the same thing in McDavid, where McDavid's pressured the front office to go and bring in pieces to play alongside him, and I think Buffalo's gone and done that, but just the value and
they've tried
the misvalue in just the misvalue and misuse of the funds towards players that are not worth that money that they're spending.
That's the thing. They've tried to go out and do that for him, but like they've got the wrong people. They've went to spend money and they brought in guys like Taylor Hall and Jeff Skinner, Eric Stahl's another one. And they've brought in these names, but those aren't the names that you need to use to build around a guy like Jack Eichel.
So if we want to make it about the Leafs now, I think the greatest blessing that they've had was the fact that in 2015 or 2014, when they didn't get one of the 1 or 2 draft picks, or maybe it was 2015. I
wouldn't have hated having the first.
Obviously, McDavid, yeah. The difference is
the second.
If you're the Leafs and your core going forward, it was only Eichel, Nylander, and like Morgan Riley. That's because you're probably good enough the next year to screw yourself out of like a top pick. So you're not getting a Laine Matthews or even Pierre-Luc Dubois. Like realistically,
well, even Buffalo that year went like they were dog shit that year before they got Eichel, and then they picked up Eichel, who was the second pick in the draft, and they were fine. They weren't good, but they were better the next year and didn't put themselves in a spot where they could have got Matthews. So I mean, you give that guy to the Leafs, it's a different story.
No, but the Leafs aren't. I think the biggest blessing that they had was the fact that you stockpiled these prospects. You had Nylander from the year before. You had Riley from the year even before that. You get Marner that year. You're still garbage because none of them are contributing to your team. You get Matthews.
Well, yeah, that was the thing too, is that you weren't like you drafted Mitch high enough. Like he went, was it 4?
But he was in the OHL.
Like that's high, but you can still see him in the OHL, like developing that way. Right. If you go out and you get Jack Eichel, you have to play Jack Eichel in the NHL, or McDavid. Both of them had to play in the NHL. There was no way around that.
They made their teams better before they were ready.
Yeah, exactly.
And
they were deeper and ready to go.
At the time, Buffalo, all they had was like Reinhart. That's the only realistic, right?
There already.
I'm pretty sure
Reinhart was 2014.
I don't think they had anyone.
Yeah, if you stack it up though, like I'm just trying to plot this out in my head. You look at 2014. Sabres take Reinhart. Leafs take William Nylander at what was it, 8th, 9th, 10th, something towards the end of the lottery.
Yeah.
Right. 2015, second pick Eichel, 4th overall Marner. 2016, I don't know where. I believe it was Middlestat for them. Obviously, Matthews went first. I'm pretty sure Middlestat was 2016. He might have gone closer in the lottery or whatever. Again, anywhere in between 6 to 10, I want to say. And then 2017 was Rasmus Dahlin? Or was that 2018? Correct. But you're talking about a team.
2018
I think it was 2018.
Yeah.
Dahlin's done his entry the next year.
Heischer was 2017.
Correct. So regardless of what year, we're talking about the Sabres being a team that has in terms of volume, outpicked the Toronto Maple Leafs in the top 5 picks, in the top 10 picks over the last 5 years. And the progress between the two teams is so freaking, it's huge. Like the gap between the Sabres and the Leafs in terms of where they are in the standings, it's polar opposites. One's up here, one's over there. Like what gives? The fact that, to me, the only thing I have on that is management and just poor mismanagement of assets, not picking correctly with players, spending $9 million on guys like Skinner. Like at some point, they got to be held accountable.
Trading Ryan O'Reilly for all you have is 4th liner Tage Thompson from it.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Sorry. They've picked since 2012. They drafted 12th, 8th, 2nd, 8th, 1st, 7th, 8th. The highest they went or lowest they went was 12th. And that was in 2012. And that's still a lot.
That was Gergenson's, wasn't
insane.
Says Mr. Gergensen.
And
he's like a
2012
a third liner.
No. He went 14th. They had the 14th pick in that one too, but 12th overall they went Mikhail Grigorenko.
He's made his way
now
around
in the KHL. Yeah.
No, he's back in the NHL, but he's made his way around in and out of the league. He's back with Columbus. As of this year, he played with Columbus. Could have already fallen off the map. It wouldn't be the first time, but I'm pretty sure he signed with Columbus this year.
Yeah.
They took a risk though the next year. This is just ugly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sad.
So we're gonna go through the teams quickly and say, would they give up? Like realistically, would they give up their best up and coming piece for Jack Eichel?
Up and coming is best piece in general.
It's both of them. So so Anaheim, starting with them, would they trade Trevor Zegras in a package for Jack Eichel?
Yes.
Yeah. Arizona.
Trevor Zegras could be great, but Jack Eichel is great, and I think
is great.
Close.
Exactly.
I think same with Arizona.
Arizona has nothing to offer, but yes, they would.
Yeah. Anything they would.
Like what the fuck? What gives me hope in Arizona right now?
I would say Clayton Keller, but his contract, I don't really like it either.
No,
all three of us just said someone different in that little thing. I don't know if anyone picked up on that. Like, there's not a lot there.
Yeah.
No. Boston would. Okay, I would say the top 3 are untouchable in this situation. Would you trade Charlie McAvoy?
No.
You wouldn't trade Charlie McAvoy because their defense is so bad, or because
they
don't need behind McAvoy. It just falls off a cliff.
Yeah, they're not good enough defensively to get rid of a defenseman.
Yeah. So because of the situation that they were in, it's a no. But you would.
Oh, if you can somehow
player for player,
Buffalo,
probably.
If you can convince Buffalo to take I don't know, whoever
it's Mac plus.
Trent Frederick, Jack Studnicka, and whoever else they have.
Hey, Jakub Zaboral, who's currently playing.
Yeah, he finally made the fucking line.
Big draft pick. Thank you.
5 years later.
Currently playing against Matt Barzell, who got drafted after him. Thank you very much. So better than Matt Barzell. Who knows? Barzell scored.
Calgary. What is Calgary offers? Kachuk?
What is Calgary? You could have just stopped after that. I don't know. Matt Kachuk? He's been rough lately. I don't know. I would trade him for Eichel. A lot of people are going to yell at me for it.
Any combination of their top, like
Monahan, Gaudreau, Kachuk?
Yeah, any of them.
I think
I wouldn't trade multiple of them.
I don't know if Monahan's a top center compared to Eichel. Like,
oh no,
Monahan's trash.
He's a huge You're talking about a huge upgrade on Monahan that would be from Eichel.
I don't think two of those guys nets you Jack Eichel.
Really?
I think Kachuk plus.
Sean Monahan's not good.
No,
Elias Lindholm, he's been good, but like
he's second line center on a good team.
Johnny Gaudreau hasn't really been great in years. And then Matt Kachuk's got a little bit of value for himself, but nowhere near the value that Jack Eichel has.
No.
You combo two of them together, you might get them. I don't think they're good enough.
Interesting.
I think the focal point would have to be Kachuk just because of the intangibles.
And it's Kachuk plus. We're talking about a guy who some people would argue he's a top 5 player in the NHL.
Jack Eichel.
He's had a terrible year, but like he could be a top 5 NHLer.
Are we talking Eichel or are we talking
Eichel, not Kachuk.
Oh, God,
I like Matt Kachuk, but
no. Are you think I would ever call a top 5 player in the NHL?
No,
that take will never come out of my mouth.
No, but I think he's the kind of player that a lot of teams look at and say, "Fuck."
A lot of teams
would
have him. Yeah. Like
sure.
if I'm the least,
he's a great third liner.
If I'm the least, I would rather have Kachuk than Nylander. I will say that.
He's a guy
that's fine.
He's a Marchand Gallagher kind of player where fuck him, but imagine him on my team. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's a badass kind of player.
Love him on your team, hate him to play against him.
Yeah.
Carolina.
Cancer.
Would you trade Sebastian Aho?
Whoever's
I like Aho's deal though.
1 for 1.
I love Aho's deal. $8 million.
Jack Eichel.
Here's the thing: like Eichel was picked second, and then Aho was picked
Jack
second.
Eichel's significantly better than Sebastian.
So would you trade Svechnikov for him? Plus,
yes,
because Svech is on the last year of his deal.
I would trade either one of them in a heartbeat.
It's tough because all of them are basically.
You have Jack Eichel locked up until he dies.
Right. You have Eichel on more term, higher AAV, but I love Sebastian Aho, but Eichel's a better player.
He's not Jack Eichel.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's not Jack Eichel.
Now, would they make that move just to make the move? I don't think.
I don't think it would. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
I don't think they
already have a franchise center. He is an upgrade, but at what cost would it cost?
Exactly. Yeah.
Carolina. All right.
Chicago. What do they have to offer? DeBrincat? No, but
you want to talk like?
But bring Kane home? Like they're not going to do that.
I don't trade Patrick Kane for Jack Eichel.
If you're who?
If I'm Chicago.
Wow. Why?
I would.
Patrick Kane could win the Hart Trophy this year, and I wouldn't bat an eye.
But Patrick Kane is also 30.
He's older, but he's still got 5 years on his deal? 4 years?
32. Versus
I feel like
20.
Yeah, no, I get it. The age is the thing, but like this is a guy that's done so much for your franchise,
True.
And unless he wants out, you keep him there. And as long as you keep him there, he seems to be unbelievable. Like he has not slowed down in his career.
He's the sole reason they're kind of relevant this year. I'll give him
That's what I mean. He could win the Hart Trophy, and I wouldn't bat an eye. Like nobody wants to talk about it because the conversation's been Matthews and McDavid. There's a guy over in Chicago that could win it, and it shouldn't surprise anyone.
Realistically, Chicago only has 3 good players right now. It's like Kane, DeBrincat, and Kubalik.
DeBrincat's just like having a year because he's playing with Kane, but like Kubalik's good. So they have 2. They have 2 guys that I look at as like high talent NHL players.
Heath is fine.
Keith is good.
So
he's a solid D-man.
Yeah.
He's not what he was, but he's a solid D-man.
Would you trade DeBrincat and Boakvist and like picks for Eichel? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
That would actually like in terms of
would that entice Buffalo though?
I kind of think so. I don't know. Like DeBrincat's good. And Boakvist is like he was taking like top 8, I want to say, top 6.
He's just not really what he was.
You don't get a elite player back. Like DeBrincat's good. But ideally he's the third best forward you have on like your first line realistically.
I think we move on from Chicago because they are not making this move regardless.
Right.
Chicago's not a name I think is going to be in on that.
Colorado.
No.
In a heartbeat.
Well, who is
Would it make sense?
Man, if it's not
Colorado,
if the name isn't Nate McKinnon or Mikko Rantanen, I do the deal.
You're going to give up Cale Makar?
Yes.
Whoa.
Oh shit! No, I wouldn't give a Cale. Sorry, I forgot about
those
Cale.
are the only 3 players that
right.
you could.
You're right. Yeah. Sorry, McKinnon. Actually, honestly, I might even throw Rantanen in the mix, but McKinnon, Makar for sure, and then Rantanen, I'd be on the fence about it. Any other name, if you're coming at me for it, yes, please. They don't have depth at forward.
No.
But there's no center depth on that team.
But they could make a deal. I think they could.
They have room.
They have
so many demons.
They have
Byram and Tim.
That deal.
So, yeah.
Timmins and Barron. They just drafted. Barron's pretty gross. There's a couple other names back there. Even like Samuel Girard's still pretty good at like a semi-young age.
5x5 contract too.
Yeah.
Like
it just they could do it and
they're kind of like
throw
a
in
dark horse
picks for fun because they don't need to draft
anytime soon. They could legitimately make a deal.
They've been playing with Ottawa's free money for years now. So
yeah.
There are 2 legitimate stars that are potentially on the trade block, and Colorado could be linked to both of them, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Wait, who's the other star?
Sid.
Sid's not on the block.
If Sid, dude, they were rumored to be trading him.
Okay.
It's a legitimate thing.
From if he wants it, though, they're not going to tell him to leave. He's got to want it.
Columbus.
It's been rumored. Columbus, there's nobody there. Seth Jones. But you don't give up trading. They don't make a trade. There's no trade for them.
Yeah, there's no trade. Dallas.
No.
I mean,
the defense you could move somebody, but
it would be Heiskanen.
There's not enough in Dallas to move. There's not enough in Dallas.
There's no forwards.
Detroit.
No.
Not a whole lot there.
Larkin plus.
Next.
Larkin,
Zadina.
Their entire prospect.
Next. They don't have enough. Yeah. Next.
Yeah. Edmonton? No.
Swing that one.
There's no deal there. You're not getting rid of Connor Draisaitl, and if it's not one of them, it's not worth it for Buffalo.
So Draisaitl is better than Eichel, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's tight.
My opinion. But
this season,
again, that's not. And I'm not saying it's a landslide. There's still 2 very close players, but even just the heart itself. I mean that
I think 1 and 2 are locked in. 3, 4, 5 to me is a conversation between Matthews, Eichel, Draisaitl, Panarin.
Wait, who's 1 and 2?
That's about it that you throw in there.
McDavid McKinnon.
It's McDavid McKinnon. I don't think there's any argument to that.
For me, I'd say it's McKinnon.
Maybe Hedman.
Like McDavid McKinnon, Matthews, Draisaitl are all in a league of their own. And then at the top of the next list,
I think you could say
the 4 of them, and then the next, I think you could
say
be
the
Matthews, Eichel.
I think you could say the top 2 is in the league of their own, and then it's like Matthews.
I think McDavid and McKinnon are not in the same league as Matthews and Draisaitl.
Matthews, Draisaitl, Eichel's like.
I think Draisaitl's there though.
He's. Is it because he plays with McDavid?
That's the thing. Is it a benefit? Is he just the direct 100%. Beneficiary?
No, I just had this I had this conversation. He is doing better at 5-on-5 than he is on the power play. Realistically, like he still puts up a good amount of power play points, but he is carrying Dominic fucking Cahoon.
Yeah,
like he's good. I don't think he's bad, but he's not in that upper echelon of McKinnon and McDavid. They are 1 and 1A to me.
Yeah.
And
I
then
still think Sid's there too, though. That's what I'm saying.
You could throw Sid in that other grouping that I had. Like I think it's Matthews, Draisaitl, Eichel, Panarin, Sid.
I think
if you want to throw a D-man in, it's Hedman.
You could throw Patrick Kane still in there.
I'd separate. I'd go 2, and then.
Okay, interesting. Well, that's another
the
podcast.
rest of the group.
That's another podcast. We'll do
Group
it.
the play. Yeah, group the players by their.
I'm gonna write that down.
I got that. Group the players by their tier.
Yeah.
All right, we got to fly through these a little quicker.
Florida, you're not trading. I wouldn't trade Barkov.
No.
Barkov, and I don't think there's. All right, here's the one that like I actually wanted to see, the Kings, because like, do you trade? What's his name?
Byfield, Velarde.
Do you trade Byfield for Eichel? Would you in a package for him?
Without even thinking about it?
I think so.
I don't. Okay, I don't. My opinion might be a little.
If they're like
skewed
Byfield,
because I don't see Byfield being very good in the NHL. I haven't seen a lot out of him that I'm like, yeah, he's going to be a superstar. He'll be good. He'll be a Jonathan Taves, maybe at best. I think his ceiling, Jonathan Taves.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Right? Like
that's not a very great ceiling when it comes to trying to. If I'm taking Jonathan Taves or I'm taking Jack Eichel, I'm taking Jack Eichel without even thinking about it.
Right, but
even at their primes.
Do you accelerate?
But being Jonathan Taves isn't too bad.
Yeah, do you accelerate your rebuild like that, like ahead of?
I think the Kings are close enough to do it. I think the Kings are close enough to do it. Yeah, they need a goalie. I don't think Jonathan Quick's your guy, obviously.
I mean, Cal Peterson's been starting for him, hasn't he?
Yeah. Hey, Florida you could take a goalie off the hands of Florida in a heartbeat. Yeah,
I don't think. Well, not the one.
I don't think you get rid of Drieger if you're Florida. You could go get Spencer Knight, or you could go get. You could go get what's his name?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I knew his name was Devin, but that was it.
Minnesota.
Who's after?
Montreal. Would you give up
Kaprizov?
basically? I mean, but I'd give up Kaprizov in a second for Eichel.
Montreal won't do it, but Montreal needs to do something.
Montreal does not have a centerman. I love.
They don't have anyone that can score.
No.
Yeah.
Forget not having a centerman. They can't fucking score. This is exactly what I said a month ago. They don't have offense. They never did. And now people are acting like they were going to be one of the best teams in the league, but they picked up nothing to score. They went on an absolute heater where everybody was doubling their career shot percentage, and now they're coming back down to earth and they can't fucking win because they can't score. I don't understand why they haven't made a move.
All right. Nashville, there's no. New Jersey is the one of them that I really wanted to get into. Would you trade Jack Hughes for Jack Eichel? Hughes looks good.
Hughes looks great this year. He's making me eat every word I've ever said about him.
Second year of his entry deal. Or Nico Hischier. Would you trade the guy that you just needed?
I'd trade Hischier without thinking about it.
Yeah.
Hughes is a weird one because like he was not good in his first year, but he looks really good this year.
He's a lot more confident on the puck. I've seen that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
like what's
better playmaker, better shooter.
Because like he's got the body of like Patrick Kane at center, right? You know what I mean? Like,
if that, he's not big.
Body exactly. Like just stature-esque. Like
he's almost Mitch Marner.
Fair. I don't even think.
I think he can be. No, I think he can be. I don't know what that kid is.
Yeah,
he's just something different. He's not big, but he can play. Yeah, it's crazy. When he's good, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So would you like? I asked my New Jersey Devils buddy, would you trade Hischier or Eichel, or Hischier or Hughes? He said 1 for 1. I'm like, no. Assume that it's more than one piece. He's like, maybe
if it's Hughes, it's 1 for 1.
I'd be reluctant to move Hughes. I'd definitely move Hischier before I move Hughes. And
if it's Jack Hughes, it's not Hughes plus. It's Hughes for Eichel 1 for 1.
Wow.
I think it's
and
that
if you're
tight.
Buffalo, does that deal make you better at all?
No.
Like it doesn't. If you're
Buffalo can't win Buffalo can't win a Jack Eichel trade.
The only way that they win that trade is like a team like the Kings or like Colorado where they're throwing a ton of pieces at you. Like I think the Kings are like in the driver's seat for the trade. Because if they're like, here's Turcotte and
you need
Byfield,
to fleece a bad team if you're
you need
Buffalo.
multiple pieces. You don't just need one piece because you're getting a rebuild.
No. And picks.
Yeah. All right,
because
let's fly through these.
You need to be able to find guys that'll fit for you come the future because they don't have anything.
We'll fly through the teams that like just don't have it. The Islanders. I mean, you're trading Barzal.
No.
You literally have too many contracts. To even
I
fit
trade
Jack
Barzal.
Eichel.
Yeah,
sorry.
You trade. Do you trade Laffy? Yes. Yes.
No.
One, Laffy doesn't.
Not yet.
Yeah,
not yet.
I would do it because you need a center.
It's Jack Eichel.
You need a center there. Zibanejad hasn't. He's been great, but this year is kind of he's off to a slow start.
He's getting better.
You give that 1-2 punch in the middle, you're fucking flying.
Ottawa. Do you make like a Kachuk?
I don't trade Stützle.
That
kid's fucking special, dude. I don't trade. I don't package Stützle for anyone.
I like what the Sens are doing. I think they're going to be good eventually.
They will be a playoff team within 3 years. I'd say.
I think that's fair.
I think they need a better goalie than Matt Murray. That's not a hot take. But like their lineup is good. They made the Leafs look bad. They made the Canadians look bad. They made the Jets look bad. Like they're beating the top teams in this North Division, and they look like a good team when they're winning. When they lose, they look terrible. But when they win, they look great. They just got to figure it out.
Flyers, I don't see a move. Pittsburgh, I don't see a move.
Frost. Pittsburgh, there's no.
I mean, but Frost, there's no like that. That's still not a move.
Sid for
San
Eichel,
Jose. Yes, but I'm Buffalo, and I say absolutely not. Because like, what do I get? I get like 4 or 5 more years.
You get a trade chip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
San Jose nothing.
Value.
Yeah. San Jose nothing. St. Louis no. Tampa Bay.
No.
Point?
The hell do they need Jack Eichel for?
No.
Point plus?
The hell do they need Jack Eichel for? No, there's no point.
Leafs? There's no trade there.
No trade.
No, there's no trade there. Who are you giving up? I'm not giving up Matthews.
Nope.
I'm not giving up.
I don't think I'd give up Marner. Well, you going to go JT for Eichel?
JT has a no move, so it doesn't matter.
Right, so there's no move there.
But yes, I will.
Matthews or
like it's
Marner has no move. Yeah.
Elias Pettersson or Jack Eichel? Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
I love
Petey.
Especially Petey's on the last year of his entry too. Like he's gonna
They can't afford it.
I don't know if I would do it if I'm the Canucks though.
They literally can't. Regardless of what we want to say about so and so they literally cannot make a move. They don't have anywhere near the cap space. Or
but
people like
yes
none of their big names are making enough to move.
I wouldn't trade Pettersson, even though Eichel is an upgrade. I think he's a special player. I really think.
So you would take Pettersson long term.
I would keep Pettersson long term.
No. You personally, do you like Pettersson more than Eichel or no?
Right now, no. I like Eichel, but I'm saying in terms of the future, yeah, I would longevity. Really? I think Pettersson can reach that ceiling, if not higher.
Interesting. And I don't think there's any moves with the Knights, Caps, or Jets. Right?
No, those teams are all tight to the cap anyway.
Yeah. All right. So that was our little activity. What else is there to talk about?
A lot.
Yeah, we got a full docket.
Can we talk about Montreal?
All right, let's talk about it.
Okay.
What do you want to talk? Take Fireclaw, Julian. They're still hanging on to the 4th playoff spot, correct?
By a thread, or just in terms of their play, by a thread.
By points, by a thread too, but I think percentage they're healthy.
They have just fallen off a cliff. I'm just pulling up the standings here. They're 2 ahead of the Flames, but fuck, they've looked ugly.
The Montreal Canadiens will do anything to just not admit that they're a flawed ass team. This team can't score.
Mm-hmm.
I've already said this. They're not a goal-scoring team. There's nobody on that team that I'm looking at that I'm scared of. Suzuki's good. He could be a top 5 in the North. Outside of that, Josh Anderson played out of his mind for a couple weeks. Scored a lot of goals. Had people thinking. Tyler Toffoli scored 100 goals against Vancouver. Made people think that they could score. But, there's nobody on this team that I'm looking at that, they're the reason why we should be winning and, that they're just coached better, we'll be fine. Kotkaniemi's not good. When are we going to admit this? He's just not that good of a hockey player. We're expecting him, okay, Claude Julien didn't play him enough in the right spots, so we're going to bring in, what's his name? Dominic Ducharme, is it?
Yeah.
Something dumb, something. They're going to bring him in. He's going to play Kotkaniemi more, and we're going to score more goals. No, he's not that good. You're fucking relying on Philip Deneau, who can't put a puck anywhere near the net to be your top center. Mm-hmm. It's a joke. They're not good. Fuck.
I want to pose this question.
I don't think he can't.
I want to pose this question. So Philip Deneau in itself, he hasn't scored a goal. He's not much of a offensive threat at all. He's a two-way forward, very good on the kill.
Correct.
Cool.
I've talked a lot about this too because everybody's posed and the amount of tweets I've pulled up, the Sid Sixieros, Chris Johnson, we have to make assumptions early with this being a short season. Montreal's a juggernaut. Montreal's the best team in the league. The best team in the North
it came from everybody. I don't get it. I have no idea where that came from.
Hold on.
That's the problem.
I was partly in that group.
I know.
I think Montreal can win game. Would I be shocked if Montreal beat Toronto in the playoffs? No, because they have just son of a bitches and Carey Price can still here. That's what I mean. But
dude, Carey Price is the victim of the fact that his name is Carey Price.
He's also hasn't been good. Correct.
Since 2014, he hasn't been good. He's not. He's I saw someone the other day say Carey Price is still a top 5 goalie. Carey Price is barely a top 15 goalie. Are you kidding me? The guy's numbers haven't been good. They've been good one time since 2014. That's it. We're talking 7 years. He hasn't been good. He's been good one of the past 7 years. What the fuck are we talking about here? This team is not good. I don't get it.
Now, I've just gone through this over the past couple, whatever it was, day and a half that it's happened. I think the team itself has got an unfair shake. And I think Claude Julien got an unfair shake at this just because.
Sure, because everyone thought they were
cannot expect Philip Deneau
to be your
I guess
first
you can say Nick Suzuki's slotting in at the 2 spot and expect him to go up against McDavid Draisaitl, Scheifele Dubois, Matthews Tavares, night in, night out, and expect them to
win out.
Win out on these matchups. It's an unfair shake. And for Julien to get the short end of the stick here, I call bullshit.
You're asking
I feel so bad for Claude Julien.
I call bullshit on that.
Oh, it's 100% a scapegoat thing. How many head coaches is Mark Bergevin going to get to fire?
Mm-hmm.
I understand. Montreal's been good enough not to suck and get a franchise center. But come on, what are we? Deneau's at a victim of his circumstance, being a $3 million guy having to go up against $10 million. $10 million, and he's great at what he does. But who on Montreal is scoring? No one. There's no shot creators.
Apparently, Joel Armia tonight.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay. Good thing was it him? No, it was Paul Byron that got waived. Never mind.
Yeah, Byron got waived.
I just don't know why. Montreal is the way that it is. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I thought I was losing my mind by thinking they weren't good.
It's like Morrow expecting Justin Hall, who's making $2 million, to perform like Drew Doughty making $10 million. Montreal expects $3 million Philip Deneau to perform like the Austin Matthews.
We'll get to Hall later, but proceed.
Hockey media expected Montreal to perform like the fucking Tampa Bay Lightning. Are you kidding me?
They propped them up as this huge product. Oh, watch out, Leafs. We got Montreal this year.
People had them over. Yeah, people had them over the Leafs.
It's a byproduct of them being hyped up as this team when, they're nothing short of just a young developing team aside from a couple players, veterans like Dano, Gallagher, Shea Weber that are going to carry the load and, help Kotkaniemi, Suzuki fill into these roles that they're going to fill in. And it's eventually you're going to stop playing over your head over your heels. And now that it's happened, you're selling out your fucking coach. Like it's upsetting for me.
Do you think that Bergevin makes it out of the year? Like,
yeah, unfortunately, yes.
I don't think he's going anywhere. He's done enough to prove that he can do it, but
right, like they're in a terrible spot because Bergevin makes them good enough to be a good team, but like they haven't been bad enough to be a bad team to get the good players. So they're just in like a
I mean, they finished 24th in the NHL last year, but they were dumb enough to win that fucking first round.
There you go.
Just throw that series, man.
Okay, Sidney Crosby plays his 1,000th game in the NHL. Cool feat. It was cool to see the players
doing his ritual was the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was a fun thing to see.
Yeah.
Is he a top 5 player of all time?
Do you want to answer
it's so
first?
Tough. It's so tough.
It's not.
It is.
It's not. He's top 5.
It is. No, it is tough because you can't just discredit what people have done in the past.
Where like hockey's the
it's
one
recency bias,
where,
right?
Like, it's 100% recency bias, and to where like in any sport, like I think hockey's the easiest one to be like it doesn't irk me as much to give credit to old guys in hockey compared to like baseball, to where baseball is like a different sport, right? Like you had Tubby Babe Ruth out there telling me he's the best player of all time. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. I when you look through all the names, how Crosby's numbers it doesn't necessarily stack up against them. He's the best of this era, no doubt.
In an 82-game season, he would average 104 points. But because he had 17 concussions in the middle of his career,
but you can't.
Numbers don't look all great. If he played, he was the most dominant player in the NHL from the time he was drafted until the time Connor McDavid was drafted.
But you can't say that because if he didn't have his concussions. Well, he did. He did. Like he was at the time he became captain. He was the youngest captain in history. He captained them to 3 Stanley Cups, including back-to-back Cups. He made literal fucking superstars out of every winger that ever passed through him, and then they turned to dog shit once they left. He's one of the best two-way forwards in the game, and he dominated offensively for the first entire half of his career. Like, people talk about McDavid and how impressive it was that he reached however many points so quick. He did it in the same amount of games as Sid, and Sid's not even thought of as an offensive player. Like, there's definitely not 5 guys in NHL history that are better than him. I wouldn't even argue there's 3. There's 2 in my mind. It's Gretzky and it's Lemieux, and then it's Sid.
No.
So I think it's 3 for sure. Gretzky, Lemieux, Bobby Orr.
Okay.
And then we can start having the conversation of whether or not
I'm with Lemieux on this.
Gretzky,
Lemieux are the foundations of hockey.
Exactly.
They are the.
Okay, but being the foundation doesn't make you the top 3.
But it's just you look at anybody in today's NHL. Who are they comparing them to? Those 3 players are the gold standard of who you compare a player to in this generation of hockey. And for that reason, Crosby sits just below those 3 in the and I have here Howe, Yager, Messier, Crosby in that sort of bubble where they're interchangeable based on a lot of factors.
Yager doesn't do it. Yager doesn't.
And that's the thing. Yager never played a full career in the NHL. Right. Crosby had concussions. If
exactly,
you never know.
Right.
Yager played 1,000 years in the NHL.
But he didn't play the entire
a hell of a lot in the Czech Republic and Russia. Or
so does that counter? Like, does that add to his legacy, or does that take
Imagine he never left in the prime years of his career.
Exactly.
The hockey fanatics go nuts with that kind of stuff, right?
Is who's the best? Ovechkin's the best goal scorer of all time, correct? Yes or no?
Yeah, that's
Ovechkin. Yeah. It's not a discussion.
Yeah. Okay, but he's not. He's not like he's maybe once he passes Gretzky like top 10.
If he gets top, where is he in all-time goals? Let me see all-time goals.
He's second.
What are we talking about? Jaromir Jagr not playing in the prime of his career.
Let's see.
He started here when he was 18.
The Czech Republic.
18. He literally never played a full season there. He played in the lockout years.
No, but when did he leave and go back to Czech Republic?
04-05. He played for one season because it was locked out. And then he went back in 08-09. He went to the K.
No, he went back in 08-09 through 11, and he came back in 2010.
10-11 was his last year because he wasn't good anymore.
I mean,
he was 30.
Like the prime years of Jaromir Jagr's career. The prime years of Jaromir Jagr's career was when he was playing here. He left when he was old, and then he came back and was never good after that.
So you wouldn't say so, Maura? What's your opinion on Lidstrom?
Lidstrom compared to the rest of this group?
Yeah, because I think Lidstrom's up there, and Lidstrom has something that
that's a fair point. You're talking about a guy who, aside from Orr,
he's
won consistent Norrises throughout his career relative to the rest of the group.
Yeah,
you could argue Lidstrom's the best defensive of all time, and Lidstrom dragged Mike Babcock to a fucking Stanley Cup. That is better than anything.
Mike Babcock was a great coach, though. Back in his Detroit days, he was unreal.
Shut the fuck up.
He was great in Detroit. Are you kidding me? There's a reason he stayed there for 25 years.
I'm with Amir on this one. He dragged them kicking and screaming. I know Detroit Red Wings fans that'll tell you Mike Babcock underachieved with the Red Wings, and again, despite the fact that they went to back-to-back things, he said that they underachieved.
I'm trying to look up the Greg Wyshynski tweet, but that's for later when we talk about
you're talking about a guy who I don't even know how many Norrises he has. 7, I think.
7, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, he was gross.
He's
great. He played in a way better era too.
So are we gonna actually say that Crosby, who's the third or fourth, you're arguing the third best forward of all time?
The third best forward.
Yeah, because the two guys ahead of him are miles ahead of everybody else. Miles. It's not close. It's 1-2. Gretzky, Lemieux.
Is Crosby better than Hasek, Patrick Roy, or Martin Brodeur?
You don't count goalies.
But why?
Yes,
why not?
You don't count goalies.
But this is a question. No, this is a great question.
Okay, if you're listing players in the NHL now, we already did it. We've talked about our top 5 to 8 guys. None of us thought of a goalie. Not once.
No, here's the question I posed.
Vasilevsky is 80% of the reason Tampa wins, and he's not even in the conversation.
Here's the question I pose. You go through a draft all-time list of players. Where does the first goalie fall? And I think that will tell you where. And again, it's probably going to be Brodeur, Roy, Hasek. And
and they're probably going in the second round.
In terms of their,
I don't think they're going the second
importance and how high they'll stack up on the list. Skater's just that big of a position. Anywhere on the ice relative to goalies, it gets that much more credit.
I don't think that right now Crosby is a top 5 player all time. But the thing is, his career's not over.
And that's the thing. I struggle to justify that.
Why are we trying to do this?
Yet.
When he's Tom Brady, we can do those conversations of is he the best ever? Because his career is basically over. Even though he's adding to it, his resume is already there. Sid's resume isn't over. What if Sid gets traded today to fucking Tampa Bay and somehow they go win 3 more fucking cups, right? But
Crosby's 33 years old. Brady's 43 years old. In the last 10 years that the Brady has been playing and everybody's saying he's done, he's added a lot to his resume in that 10 years. And Crosby can still do that.
There's not that many players that make it past 35 in the NHL.
Right.
Joe Thornton's 41 and still after 2 knee surgeries.
And Joe Thornton's he's been the only one from the draft class for 3 years. 2 years. Him and Marlowe. Mm-hmm. They were in the same draft class, were they not?
Yeah, they were 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Yeah. They're the only 2 from that draft class that are still playing for the past 3 years.
Spets was there.
Still playing. Yeah. Spezza's like 37. Is he not?
Yeah, he's like 37, 38.
He's not even 40 yet. Like this is what I'm saying. You're calling Jason Spezza old. He's fucking 4 years on sit.
37.
He's like you don't last that long in the NHL. He doesn't have as much time.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, there's a difference here. Jason Spezza was like
4 years of Sidney Crosby.
But again, Jason Spezza is still considered old.
Okay, but
and
Jason
the fact that he's still here is nuts.
Sidney fucking Crosby. Like, what
are
you talking
but
about?
He played with Sidney Crosbys of his era that have already retired in his group.
Yeah, but they were not his age.
Spezza's
right?
in 1983.
Mm-hmm.
Spezza's 37.
He's got 4 years on him.
And in between those 2 is Alex Ovechkin. Are people calling Alex Ovechkin old? No, he's scoring 50 goals a year.
Doesn't matter. He's still old.
Yeah, but he's scoring 50 goals.
Yeah, but like the thing is, Ovechkin's still chasing something here. He's still chasing the all-time goals record. Like,
there's talk of him leaving in the next 2 years because he wants to go back and play in Russia.
Yeah.
No, he wants the goal record before he leaves. Yeah, and there's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
you can research that one.
Ovechkin is not leaving until he gets close to the record.
All right, so
once he knows the dream is over, then he'll leave.
Exactly. To sum it up,
okay.
Me and Moro say no top 5. Britt says
who's your top 5 then? Hold on. Who's your top 5? I'm interested. Who do you put above him?
Alrighty. The 3 we said. Yeah, go for it.
I got Gretzky, Lemieux. This is 1, and this is 1 through 5. 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Number 1, Gretzky. Number 2, Lemieux. Okay. Number 3, Orr. Number 4, Gordie Howe. And number 5, if I'm making a decision, I'm going to say Mark Messier.
So in terms of greatness, what's your threshold of how many games you have to play to be one of the greatest of all time?
It doesn't have to be a threshold for greatness.
Just
like
greatness in the sense that Gretzky, there's no doubt about it. Lemieux was the next best thing to him, and despite he played a lot less games, and he would have been
Gretzky has every record known to man. Lemieux is,
Or is the best defenseman we've ever seen. I've never seen him, but hockey's ever seen. Gretzky, pre-Gretzky was Gordie Howe, so he is the forefather to which Gretzky came from. And Messier is the Scottie Pippen to Wayne Gretzky, except for the fact that when Messier left and went to New York, he still decided to go and win on his own, where Gretzky was never able to do so.
Right.
And he's got the points to back that career up. So
I would put Lidstrom, I think, 5 over him. 4 Cups, 7 Norrises, like unreal. But I have the same top 4 as Morrow. I think by the end of his career, Crosby probably is top 5, but then how quickly does McDavid pass him? If McDavid doesn't win a cup, then he's not top. Like McDavid's got to win 3 cups.
Yeah. He's got to, plural.
Yeah.
Bobby Orr played 657 games in his career.
And
he played like almost half of what Sid's already played. And like he was good offensively, great offensive defenseman.
He revolutionized it.
Okay, sure. He created. Like we can't look at points as fucking Bobby Orr's main output. Like he wasn't Nick Lidstrom, and Nick Lidstrom's not fucking Sidney Crosby. Sid beat him. Like what are we talking about? At the end of his
career,
he beat him. He was still good then. He won the Norris like 2 years before that.
I mean, Lidstrom also beat him.
Lidstrom also beat Joe Sakic.
Like, what are we talking
about? Gordie Howe played. Okay, we're gonna like Lidstrom's better than Bobby Orr. I don't think Bobby Orr's in the top 5. Sorry,
he's got more hearts than him.
Who? Bobby Orr?
Yeah.
Back in the time when fucking nobody was there, they had no one in that league. Regardless, Messier was great. He was carried for 80% of his career because he played with fucking Wayne everywhere he went. Gordie Howe played for a gajillion years, and that's why his stats look good. He's not fucking Sidney Crosby.
I'm biased here. I'm proud of you.
Jesus. I'm not even biased. It's just straight up facts. I can start pulling numbers, but it's not fucking worth it because it's like talking to a damn wall on this. You're kidding me. There's NHL. You can't find a fucking NHL player that doesn't put Sid in the top 5. They played with them.
Of course, because they
give
watched
your
them
head a
growing
fucking
up.
shake.
Because they watched them growing up.
They watched these greats growing up and played with one of the greatest of all time. Come on. Get lost.
His career's not over, and B, I mean,
and he's already there.
I have it written right here. Like, he's there.
Yeah,
let him finish his career.
He's already there.
Yeah, but like I think so much of it is being caught up in the moment and being so quick to appoint these guys. Like, oh, these guys are just there when they're like, it's not over yet.
Mark Messier, literally, when people look at Gretzky's career and say, yeah, but once Messier left, he never won a damn thing. Mm-hmm. Is that not worth anything? The fact that he left everybody got to play with Gretzky in Edmonton, and he goes off and wins with who? Who else was on that New York team? Nick Kypreos?
Hold on.
Mike Richter was in net. They had Brian Leach, Kevin Lowe, and some other guys. Like
Brian Leach, a top 5 defenseman of all time.
Hold on. Was there not a part in time where Malkin was better than Crosby, and that was a legitimate thing?
Never.
I mean,
to my dad, that's still a thing. But
he's better than Crosby when Crosby's out because all of a sudden he turns into fucking Superman. But
like,
I don't know. It's just hard to justify Crosby in the top 5. He's 6 right now for me, and that's not a bad thing.
It's nothing to shake at. Like what? Like how
he's not even done his career. Like let him. He's at 37
he's got 3 years.
Now.
How many more years on his contract? 5? 4?
I don't know.
He plays that out and he's done. He's not going to sign another contract after this. I guarantee it. This is it for Sid. You've got 4 years left. So you think these 4 years are going to push him any higher than where he's at for you? No.
But
this is what he is.
He's going sort of catastrophic injury. He's moving that far up the point list.
Yeah.
In today's NHL, that's worth a lot because everybody always looks back at the whole retroactive, you do the calculation based on how many points that would have accumulated in 1980 and it's X number. If he's passing that many players in today's era and he's up into the top 25, that's worth a whole lot more than him sitting still at 37 and retiring today. So another 5 years worth of, 60, 70 points, another 300 points in total, and he's up over to 1,600 almost. And where does 1,600 put you in the all-time list? Close to
your top 5 was
Yzerman,
Gretzky,
Lemieux, Howe, and Messier.
So 4 of the top 5 point scorers of all time. So
both multi-cup winners.
Points are the argument here.
Points and multiple cups.
Sid has.
You're talking about Gretzky, who won 84.
Gretzky's the greatest of all time. There's no argument on that.
Plus hearts and hearts and hearts. Lemieux won 2 plus however many.
If Lemieux was healthy his whole career, maybe.
Right.
That kind of sucks. But he never even touched Gretzky's records. It's a joke.
No. Not in terms of a numbers thing, because it's not even fair at that point. But if we're talking player for player, you're putting them on the ice, is Lemieux better than Gretzky? I don't know. We'll see.
But that's what I mean. You put Crosby up against Messi. I don't think Crosby goes and makes Messi look silly. These are 2 solid players in the NHL. Mm-hmm. It's not as if one's significantly better than the other, regardless of who you put in as your number 5. They're still very close, regardless of who's 5 and who's 6.
It also comes down to personal preference, right? What you like in a player. I think you have to put Lidstrom up there just because he's unreal in the numbers that he has as a defenseman. He's just no one touched him for a fucking decade as the best defenseman. That's insane. Meanwhile, Crosby's he had that rough stretch from with all the concussions, as you're saying. There was
2011 to 2014.
Yeah, during that time, I float in and out of hockey, but much of the rhetoric was Crosby's done. And it's cool that he came and went and won 2 cups after it, but I think you have to be cognizant. He had a 4-year stretch of just bleh.
Brain damage.
But you can't say you can't. But it's not
hold on. I can't use injuries as a reason to denigrate his greatness.
No, you can.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
People use it as.
Isn't the argument the same with Bobby Orr? Why is Bobby Orr not less? Because he fucking could not stay healthy. The reason he couldn't play in the NHL was because he got hurt. He doesn't. He didn't even score 1,000 points. If that's the play you want to make.
He changed the game more than Crosby did, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Does that not matter?
Work ethic alone, I disagree, but.
In terms
at the time Sidney Crosby was drafted, nobody had that kind of work ethic.
Going coast to coast was made by at least
Bobby Orr.
Was made by Bobby Orr
60 years ago. Yes,
but that's
there was nothing back then. Like they weren't even wearing helmets back then. Like lots of shit was invented that long ago. Sid came in and created an entire new way to train, essentially, man. Like, he was the only one in his time that was doing what he was doing to play the game of hockey. Until he came around and people followed that kid and started doing it the same way.
Okay, but you give Bobby Orr the medical, the training that Crosby is privy to right now.
Like, that's part of the conference. Like, it's
right?
Whether or not, like, oh, you bring Babe Ruth now and you give him modern medicine and science. Wouldn't he be the greatest player ever? Like, you can't live under these hypotheticals of saying, oh, well, Sid was hurt and he had this.
Wayne Gretzky wouldn't be as good now as he was when he played.
But would he still be the best player ever?
I think it'd be a more interesting conversation. I'm not going to go all hot taking and say no, but like, if you look at some of the goals that he scored, they weren't good.
But you saying that and saying that he took advantage of the era that he played in, you have to say that Crosby took advantage of modern medicine and the way that, like, he's not the reason that like the pure reason. Oh, these athletes train so much better now than then. It's just simply science and people like experts developing the way that to train for athletes to train.
I don't agree with you in the slightest. If you ever listen to players that have played in the same era as him, they will speak wonders about what he did as a fucking athlete. He was the only player that would do it in the NHL.
But isn't that every
he created this wave of guys like Stamkos and McDavid?
That every great player ever? They always say his work ethic was unbelievable. His work ethic, like
he literally brought this new age of training into the NHL. He's the reason we have so many stars right now. Because Nate McKinnon changed his game because he started to train with Sidney Crosby. He's the second best player. I still think he's the first because he went out and trained with Sidney Crosby. Brad Marchand turned his game around because he started training with Sidney Crosby. Like, this is a guy that fucking knows how to do it and change the game for so many superstars. Don't at me with that one. Let's move on. We've gone way too long.
So, no top five. Brant, yes, top five.
Mm-hmm.
Brant, top three.
Top three.
Correct? Okay.
Yep. It's third.
Babcock came out this week and ran his mouth some more.
Mm-hmm.
What were you guys' thoughts about it?
I don't have any, honestly.
I mean, I didn't catch a whole lot of what he said, but I feel like at this point he's just trying to make himself sound relevant and sound like he's got some sort of position of, like, don't come at me with all this stuff, like, after the fact. Like, I don't know. I haven't looked a whole lot into it, but I mean, I don't really buy anything of what he's saying right now. He's a thing of the past for me.
So I thought it was funny that, like, with everything that came out, that just Babcock saying the part of me is like, oh my God, just leave. Like, there's no reason for you to rehash and, like, bring it up again.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I did agree. Like, I guess it's kind of cool that what he said about once Dubas was hot, Lou was gone, I know I was fired. Like, and
it's a joke.
When I heard that, I was like, okay, fuck off. Like, but then again, he's not wrong. Like, GMs do want their own guy. Like, the reasoning he gave behind
that part makes sense.
Yeah.
But don't tell me as soon as he got hired, he knew he was going to get fired. Like, if he would have done his job and if they would have started working together in the slightest and he wasn't spiting him at every single turn, he'd still be the Leafs coach today. Regardless of the fact that he's a terrible human being. He was an idiot.
Mike, I want you to put Spezza in the lineup for tonight. Jesus. He's coming home, and it'd be great to see him in the lineup tonight on the day where all of his family's going to be here. Okay, I'll take note of that. Okay, I'm on it, Kyle. What's he do? He benches Spezza. Like, it's just a human thing. Like, he just as a human doesn't value what Kyle Dubas does. And I mean, sorry, but if that's the character, I don't see how there is a fit.
I don't understand why we're talking about this, man.
Yeah.
I could not give one single shit about what Mike Babcock's doing. I don't even understand why they did that piece. Like, who fucking cares what Mike Babcock's doing? There's so many new coaches you could talk about. I don't give a single shit about what Mike Babcock does from now until the day he dies. I don't give a fuck. Who cares, man? He's a relic. Jesus. Find a new story. I don't get it. I don't understand why we want to keep patching about the Mike Babcock stuff. It makes no sense to me.
Greg Wyshynski tweeted out basically just the Red Wings or Mike Babcock's record after Lidstrom retired and compared to before.
Oh, I'd like to hear this.
It's basically like high 600s, low 700s, like winning percentages. And then he retires and it's like 580, 583, 567, 610.
I mean, he took everybody with him, though.
Yeah. But
those teams that Lidstrom were on were disgusting, though. Like, yes, Nick Lidstrom was there, but like they had Steve Yzerman for most of it.
The Russian
Pretty sure they brought in Brendan Shanahan for a while. Like, Fedorov was there. Like,
oh, they were disgusting.
It was not
stupid. Larionov was there.
They won. Like
Dominic Hasek was in net for a while. Like
Osgood was for the old.
Chris Osgood and Dominic Hasek was the goalie tandem. That's two of the best goalies of all time.
I actually give Mike Babcock credit for this. With a team of stars like they had and old vets that they had,
he made it work.
Mike Babcock works for them. He works for them because he's a scratchy old guy and he gives order. And
at the time, he was like their age.
Exactly. Yeah, that too.
It's kind of the same thing.
Little did we know he operates like Lou Lamoriello. So I'm just done with it. All right, Leafs, let's do it. Morrow, go.
All right.
Jesus.
I mean, Jake Muzzin gets injured. Freddie Anderson gets injured. We all expected that it would be a little bit of a mess these past couple games. The goal scoring was off. Power play looked like fucking ass against Calgary altogether, both between Monday and yesterday. And I mean, like the one thing I want to know is just Justin Hall's play, just because obviously Amir's a very pro Justin Hall. I'm a very
sure.
I'm just telling it as it is and how I see it. I'm very against Justin Hall, and I've made that very apparent on the podcast. And I just kind of want to rehash what I've seen over the past two games. Obviously, I think Jake Muzzin's absence plays a huge factor in this because he's, for the most part, in my opinion, masked a lot of them. He's masked some of the mistakes that he's made. He's a defenseman. Riley's gonna do it too. When you jump up in the play and you're a more offensive-minded defenseman, it's going to happen. I get that. That mistakes are going to happen and goals are going to result on the other end because of it. If you look at all the goals against these past two games against Calgary, he's been on for all four of them. And that's concerning for me. I'm not saying kick him to the curb, but please take note of the fact of how ass he's been without Jake Muzzin.
His gaffes.
You have given him his roses these past 15 games, well deserved.
Yeah.
But please do not go and tell me it's not the slightest bit concerning that once he went down.
No. I agree with everything that you said. Justin Hall hasn't looked good. He did get the assist on the power play, but on the
my! Don't even use that as an argument. He literally just handed the puck to Willie and said, "Go, Will."
It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Good
My thing with Justin Hall.
Hold on, before we move on from that, that was the funniest thing for me because Hall's like, Willie, and he just skates back to him and he just hands him the puck. Just like the panic in his voice, just, Willie, just like hands it off. It was great.
My thing with Justin Hall always was he's a guy that is playing top minutes for you. You're paying him $2 million. And when you put him with Jake Muzzin, he's a competent NHL defenseman, correct?
Lots of people are confident with Jake Muzzin.
I don't think
competent.
Jake Muzzin helped Drew Doughty get a good job.
Why haven't the Leafs done that then? Like, why haven't the Leafs found a guy and played the guy that they think is better?
And that's what I'm here to criticize them for, because I think it's a mistake to have a guy like Mikko Lehtonen on the bench if you're going to playing
9 minutes.
No, and I'm not saying even that Justin Hall's got to be the first one kicked out of the lineup from the defense, because it's got to be Dermott. And I'd be stupid if I said that it was Hall first, because Dermott has been the chicken without a head every single game that I've watched him play, and he takes stupid penalties to boot. So believe me, I hate Justin Hall's game, but there's nobody I hate more than Dermott. So to see them playing at least Dermott over Mikko Lehtonen, it's upsetting for me.
It's stupid. It doesn't make sense.
I would like to see Mikko Lehtonen play like more minutes. But to just say without seeing it that he's just he's absolutely better than Justin Hall, I think that's wrong, because we haven't seen him yet in that scenario. Correct? Like
I think what I've seen out of Mikko Lehtonen has been good enough to put him on the second pairing.
But even then,
but you're right, he hasn't played enough to say
just don't know
without a doubt.
There's not enough.
I think with Mikko, it's a lot of we don't know, so we want to see it. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with Sandin. It's the same.
Yeah, but like what I do know is he is better than Travis Dermott at every single every single part of this game. There's not one thing that Travis Dermott does better than him.
Only head fakes and leg kicks. That's it.
That's literally it. I don't get it. I don't understand that.
Justin Hall is an offensive defenseman in a defensive defenseman's body. Correct, Mauro? Would you not agree with that?
No, because Jake Muzzin has more points out of the two of them. And he's the defensive defenseman.
Yeah, but Jake Muzzin's gross.
Jake Muzzin's a great D-man.
Yeah, like
nobody's giving Jake Muzzin credit all the time. Jake Muzzin's so goddamn good, and it's so noticeable every time he's out of the lineup.
Okay, but Justin Hall's the offensive defenseman. And he has more points.
Justin Hall's got, I think, like a couple points less even strength than Morgan Riley does. Like, let's call a spade a spade.
I don't think Justin Hall is bad. Let me just clear my point. I don't think he's bad, but I think we need to relax on what everyone thinks Justin Hall is, because Justin Hall on his own is not good.
No, I agree.
Justin Hall's really good at playing defense when you have such a damn good defender beside you.
Agreed, and it's a meme,
but he's not good.
No,
he's just not bad. He's like an average D-man. I'm just so.
He is bad. No, he is bad.
The conversation around Justin Hall.
I agree.
The conversation around Justin Hall all year was, is he the best D-man on the Leafs?
It's like
I think he's fourth half the time, maybe.
I think I honestly put Bogosian over him. Bogosian,
me too.
I shat on Bogosian.
So good.
I shat on Bogosian for at least the first 3 games of the season, and
I'd like to point out
he's shut me up real quick. He has shut me the fuck up.
All we needed to do to see if Bogosian was good was to get him out of Buffalo.
Shock, eh? Who would have thought that you'd be bad in Buffalo? Wow.
Maybe Jack Eichel's top 5 all time if we get him out of Buffalo.
No, dude. Maybe, dude. Maybe the conversation is not McDavid or anyone else.
Yeah,
maybe it's fucking Jack Eichel and the rest. Like, you think McDavid's got it bad? At least he's got Leon. What the fuck does Eichel have? I think I'd do a better job in fucking Buffalo than half the guys there sometimes. Oh, dude, Sam Reinhart scored the gorgeous goal the other day. Fucking like batted.
He's a good player. He's not William Nylander.
But he's nowhere near anywhere else.
So okay, so me and Brain agree. When Justin Hall has Jake Muzzin, he's good. He's not the problem.
He's not
serviceable.
Yeah. He's not noticeable.
Justin Hall is a serviceable D-man.
Agreed.
But we need to relax on the fact that he's the best on the team.
My point, and obviously not having Jake Muzzin, I think kind of skews last year for me a little bit, and I was definitely hard on him.
Yeah,
he didn't look good, in my opinion, but I'm kind of concerned, at least based on these past 2 games, that if we lose Muzzin again,
the Leafs should be fucked. If they lose their best defenseman, they should be fucked.
And that just goes as a defense as a whole now.
Oh, that's
other than Tampa,
even
most
Riley,
teams that lose their top D-men are screwed.
I'm here to talk about Riley too. If we're going to talk about defenders that have been playing like shit, like I'm not just going to single out Justin Hall. Morgan Riley's been bad on his own side of the ice. On his own side of the ice, he's been brutal.
But like he always has. This is Morgan Riley. I don't know where we're just all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, he's so bad this year. He's fucking Morgan Riley. This is the best Morgan Riley we've seen.
2 years ago is when people started taking note. At the beginning of the 2019-20 season, that's when
okay, sure. This is the best Morgan Riley we've ever seen. Other than 1 year. He's on pace for 69 points in an 82-game season. This is literally what Morgan Riley is. This is what we expect out of Morgan Riley. They paired him with a good D-man, and they've been great. But he just turns the puck over a lot. Who cares?
I would like you to retract your statement of this is the best Morgan Riley we've ever seen because we all know
other than the 30-goal scoring Morgan Riley, fine.
72 points paired with Ron Hainsey. Okay?
3 better. 3 points better than what his pace would be this year. Okay. And we're acting like Morgan Riley just turned into fucking Cody Ceci. Come on.
Two
I don't get it.
2 things. One, can the Leafs just run the mega power play, please?
No.
Why?
No. I like this one way better because it
hasn't worked.
Two reasons. One, no. It was before everyone got hurt.
It was on a fucking insane clip until these past 2 games.
Yeah, it's still number 1 in the league. Aside from the 0 for, was it 9 or 10 against Calgary? They're still number 1 after that. But what it does is it creates 2 units that can score, and you can pin a penalty killing unit for a lot longer because you have 2 full units, and you can run them for a minute each, and then that first unit can get right back on the ice. So when you have Matthews and Marner ready to go again, against tired legs with a PK that just got 1 extra guy back on, you've extended your power play by like a minute because you now have the tired legs of the defense going up against fresh legs of that Matthews line. I don't think it's a coincidence that he was on pace for 50.
I'm not here to fix anything after 2 games against Calgary. Like it's been working for too long this season to just let these 2 games be the reason to just piss it all away. That's just my take.
The other thing, does it worry you that like the Leafs really haven't had to deal with injuries until like in the entire renaissance of the Leafs in the Matthews era?
I mean, last year wasn't great.
But the Riley injury that they lost him like because of COVID, he was right back. Right. Well, he was coming back. He played 1 game, and then the league got
butchered his knee or his foot or whatever.
No. But the league got shut down. No. He came back the day before the league shut down
for 1 game. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like they lost JT with a broken wrist.
I mean,
got hurt.
Knock on wood.
They lost Marner for a month.
Big 4 yet. Yeah.
Like, but they haven't. It's a lot because like it's taken out basically.
This is happening all at once, as opposed to those where they were staggered and you were losing the bigger names. Mm-hmm. It was at least you can manage and fill in with guys because it wasn't all Freddie, Thornton, Simmons, Hyman all at the same time.
All the secondary guys at one time.
In fairness, Freddie's injury hasn't hurt at all.
No,
it's been incredible. There's no conversation. Like Freddie going down hasn't mattered in the slightest.
No, because you look at every performance,
great, and then
I had 3 goals against Calgary. Not like we should. You can't win if you don't score.
You can't blame Hutch for that. He had 37 shots.
Yeah,
he looked great in that last game too. Except he only faced 21 or whatever it was.
Right,
and he let 1 of them in.
You let 1 into what? One. The Leafs still need to score 1.
Yo, hold on. How not that goal? It's not. Yes, but no. Like we're gonna talk about William Nylander. Like I don't know how all of a sudden the story was like, oh, William Nylander was the reason that puck went in the net. Well, that's not Willie's guy. I saw some great pictures on it. For starters, Pierre Engvall was covering nothing. He went to go help Travis Dermott do absolutely nothing. So he blows his coverage. Justin Hall goes to get the guy that Engvall is supposed to be covering, blows his own coverage, leaves the guy wide open in front for Willie, who now has to blow his coverage to go get the guy. The only mistake he made is he tried to lift his stick instead of poke checking it.
So what you're saying is it's not Justin Hall's fault. It's Pierre Engvall.
It's Pierre. Even still, if Justin Hall doesn't move, that goal doesn't go in. Justin Hall shouldn't have moved. Pierre blew his coverage right from the start, though.
But Justin cared so much that he went to cover the other.
He wanted to stand up for his boy Pierre. But how are we going to blame Willie for going to blow his coverage that he was supposed to be on to come back and try and be somewhere when it starts right from the hop? Everyone fucked up that play. Willie was the least of the problem on that. It's nuts. I don't get it. just because he's beautiful.
Did Steve Simmons tweet anything about it? Both Nylander goals last night came on assists from Matthews.
No, I read
In
this.
21 games this season, Tavares has primary assists on 2 Nylander goals. Nylander has primary assists on 2 Tavares goals. Those two need to find a way to produce more in tandem. Fuck off. Jesus.
Who said this?
Steve Simmons.
Oh, he doesn't. Why does he doesn't matter? I don't understand how he's still. The guy is like a shitty Stephen A. Smith. Like, he just has terrible takes that people are just like, oh, look at this clown. It's like, if you just didn't give him the recognition he wanted, I would never have to hear about Steve Simmons again.
I think because of the hierarchy that he has, or the way he's thought of, because he's been around. Yeah, the seniority. Yeah, is why he gets talked about.
It's not like, but why the fuck do you talk about him? Like,
yeah, like
everyone bitches about like, oh, look at how bad this take is, and oh, he's so terrible.
When he got on Sports, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're giving him, you're giving him the limelight. Like, what are you? This is exactly what he wants.
This is what he wants.
Yeah,
he might not even believe a word he's saying.
Yeah,
but who fucking cares? He's one of the most. He's probably the most famous Toronto media member there is.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
So
just stop.
This could have been the most fun Leaf season, but because of injuries, it's not, and that sucks.
It's still pretty fun. We're still in first in the league,
but it's not as fun. I'm enjoying it. Just dominating. I want to see Wayne Simmons back.
By this time next week, it's different. Yeah, that's true.
Is Barry Randolph good?
I want to see Nick Robertson get another chance, but
yeah.
I think he got put in a better situation, and it made him look better.
Yeah, like his zone starts is like 75% in the offensive zone. So like NBA Raptors, no all-stars. Stupid, because I don't know if
I think it's rightfully so.
Okay. That's
like
fine.
The team heated up, but like it was a little too late, I'd say, just to get all-stars. They're still gonna be a great team down the stretch, but in terms of like picking up all-star nods, who do you take out of the current all-star team to put any of the Raptors on?
To have 2 Celtics is ridiculous when they're not even in the playoffs.
But both of them have been great.
They have, but so look at this. If you look at 538's Raptor Projections, which basically it's named after the Raptors, so not great, but like the statistic basically has Fred VanVleet as the 3rd best player in the NBA. Behind Joel Embiid and Nikola
But like
Jokic.
we know that's not what all-star games are based on. Like, it's like your big stats in every single league. It's like if you have the numbers, the main basic numbers, you're going to be an all-star. And like the Raptors don't have anybody like that right now. Fair. They're great. They have a team of really good players, but they don't have a team of all-stars. They just have a team of really great players, and that's all it is. Kyle's hurt. He hasn't been healthy enough. Pascal is just way too streaky. He doesn't put up the numbers. And Fred, absolute bulldog, has incredible games from time to time, but he's not the all-around all-star that you look at. Like, oh, this guy's a stud.
He's not the name. No, fair.
It's tough. No.
They're all right around 20 points, which is, I mean,
which is good.
Jalen and Jason Tatum were all at 25 each. Yeah. So I can get why they didn't include them.
And they play for the Celtics and they're high draft picks. Like, meanwhile, Fred undrafted.
You got to push the narrative. I get why they did it. It sucks, but
it's stupid. But I think it was Keith Pompey of Philadelphia. He had a story on Lowry. If the Raptors were to trade him, Philly would be his preferred destination, and that the Clippers and who else was it? Miami would be interested. So then Lowry's agent came out today and said, "Yeah, we said none of that."
Really?
Yeah.
It's funny.
So it's probably Philadelphia
leaking it. Yeah, like he's got to want it. If it's the Raptors pushing it on him, I think he's getting hard done by, and he doesn't deserve that. And he's got to want out, and he deserves it, and he should go without any sort of repercussions. Nobody should hate on him for it because he deserves it, and it's up to him. I
think they could work out a deal with Philly. It's tough because of the contracts. I think it'd be like Danny Green, and then it would be like a bunch of fillers. If it's like Tobias Harris, I tell them no because I don't want that awful contract back. Even though Tobias was like a borderline all-star candidate, also. I don't know. Like Philly could have an offer too because they have like a couple of young players that are nice. They have Thibault, and then they also have a rookie. I can't remember his name. Oh, Tyrese Maxwell. I like him too. Who his draft comparison was Kyle Lowry, so I thought that was funny.
I had him in fantasy basketball for a little while when they had an injury stretch.
Yeah,
filled in. He looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Would Philly then move Ben to 2 or Kyle to 2 if that was the play?
I think so. Ben is still the point guard in my I think because then you're taking away what's Ben's good. Kyle's playing the 2 Kyle's playing
Kyle
the
could
2
be an
out there.
exactly.
100%. Exactly. It's the same thing when Fred's out there, right? Like
Ben
they
can't.
share ball.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. There was a whole Masai Ujiri, Kyle Lowry, or Masai Ujiri, Adam Silver situation, because they dropped the dude that was accusing Masai dropped the case. Right. It was obviously vindication for Masai. Okay. Adam Silver, after like a week of Raptors Twitter just calling out Adam Silver, he finally apologized to Michael Grange in an article saying that he wishes he never said it, that he cringes every time he sees the video played. Because, like, I don't know if you guys remember what Adam Silver said, but basically it was like Masai's got to note to hand himself in those situations and not get himself in those situations.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, like, looking back at it, not great. Not good, Bob.
Adam Silver's fall from grace is like he's trying really hard to make it happen. He's done some dumb shit in the last couple of years,
and yet he's still probably the favorite.
Yeah, because everyone else sucked, but he was like unequivocally the best commissioner in sports. And then all of a sudden, it was just like, yeah, I don't want to be this anymore. He's trying his very best, but like, there's just some bad ones.
Yeah,
Gary Bettman might end up at the top at some point, just because like. Everyone else wants to do really stupid shit, and Gary Bettman's just like
to announce a trade.
You're gonna like this. You're gonna like this.
Yeah. You guys can do better than that. Come on, I can't hear you.
Like as bad as he is, and as much as he gets booed, at least he doesn't do like ridiculously stupid shit. I don't know. Apart from the Lake Tahoe thing, I guess.
Which we didn't even talk about. That
we skipped over that, but
yeah,
we don't.
Kyrie Irving tweeted out a photo of Kobe as the logo. And you got like Vanessa Bryant supported LaMelo Ball, Stephen Jackson, Des Bryant. They are in tune with the stance of to change the logo to Kobe.
Who's the current logo?
Jerry West.
It's a silhouette in the end, but I think it does depict Jerry West, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm for it. I mean, if there's anybody who's like, I'm
here for
Jordan,
it too. I don't understand why your logo isn't the most iconic person in your sport. You know who the MLB logo is? I genuinely don't.
That's
what I mean. There's 2 silhouettes. There's 2 silhouette logos in sports. I didn't know either of them until you told me that. But like, why is the MLB one not like Ken Griffey? Like something that's just like recognizable is like, yeah, that was our face.
Mm-hmm.
Like
because do you want your brand to be that?
You know what I mean? Rather.
I mean, I guess you don't want to like. I don't know. I kind of do. I personally I do because like when I think of the NBA, there's always just like I don't know if Kobe was the guy I think of. I was thinking maybe Jordan or LeBron, but like it would make sense to be Kobe just as a pure respect move. But like when I think of the MLB and I think of Flair, I think of Ken Griffey Jr. above everyone else. And I think that's kind of synonymous.
But those guys have their own logo, right? Like that's my thing. Kobe has a logo.
Okay.
LeBron has a logo. Jordan has a logo.
Kobe's got like I don't know how to describe it.
It's like a chevron. I don't even know.
It's like it's like a kind of looks
snake.
Like a Tesla.
Is it a snake? Yeah. Right. Like.
Yeah.
I don't.
But that's different than his silhouette.
Right.
Griffey's I understand because his is legitimately like him swinging, but I don't know. I think it makes sense. I don't hate it. I mean, who the hell is going to complain about that?
I don't love it.
But are you going to complain about it? Like, if they changed it to Kobe tomorrow, you're like, okay, I get it. Big respect move. He's a legend. Gone too soon.
Like, why isn't it Kareem? Why isn't it like why isn't it Kareem Skyhook? Because like he doesn't have a logo.
Sure, but Kareem didn't die tragically.
Mm-hmm. Sure, but he.
I mean, this is just like a tragic situation of one of the most respected basketball players in history.
Correct, but he's also the leading scorer ever. Like he's got a ton of.
Yeah, I know, I get it, but like when you think of the NBA, who's like your face,
right?
I don't think it's Kareem, as good as Kareem was.
Fair,
yeah.
I mean, again, I love Kobe. I think this is kind of recency bias, a little bit, right? In that sense.
Fair.
Yep. No, I don't disagree. Maybe I don't know why there's a player in the logo, period. I think the NFL and the NHL have it right. Like, why are we depicting anyone?
I don't know. I like.
You know what I mean?
I think the NBA it's no one thinks of it as a player, even though it's like everyone knows it's the logo Jerry West, but like, I think like when I just see the logo, I think NBA. I don't think Jerry West. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that's kind of what you want. Like, I don't think when you see the NBA logo, you shouldn't be like Kobe, because then that's skewing to a franchise and then a player, and then that's just you're looking at one team instead of 30, right?
Fair.
Even though Jerry West played for the Lakers and only the Lakers, right? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. Spring training open.
Apparently, the MLB logo isn't anyone.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Perfect segue. Apparently, it's not anyone specific. Apparently, it was drawn to be
Harmon
a reference
Killebrew?
to several players. No, it was a reference to several players, but it is like an exact depiction of Harmon Killebrew. Like when they put Killebrew on top of the logo, like it's Harmon Killebrew. So yeah.
MLB spring training opened on what, Monday?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically,
Vlad looks like me.
Vlad looks like me when I played baseball, you know, like probably could lose more weight,
bro.
But you know,
like he's not skinny, but he's definitely not what he was. Yeah. It's like, holy shit. Yeah. He looks ready. Well, let's just go with that. He looks ready to play ball.
So let me be a little pessimistic here.
Okay.
He's still too big.
He's still big. I wouldn't say he's too big.
I don't know.
He's a different shape is what it is. Right. All his weight's not in his waist anymore. He's still big, but like it's like a different type of big. Whereas I don't know, I think he looks pretty like he's still huge. Not even huge, he's just big, but like it's a good weight where he can use it to his advantage as opposed to just like being slow.
Still thick. Yeah.
He got like he's I don't know. I like it.
No, for sure. You'd rather have him.
I think. Apparently, his mindset's completely different too. Is what I think it was Atkins was saying, or Shapiro, one of the two. They were talking about how just like on top of the fact that he's changed his entire look, he's just completely different mentally and coming into the season with a way different outlook than he was in the previous few years, which is great. That's the main thing. Try and get your head right.
This Jays team goes as far as like. I think Vlad goes. Like if Vlad is good,
I think Vlad and Bo. I think Vlad and Bo are the two that need to. Yeah.
I think Vlad especially just because
when Vlad is streaking.
Okay.
We're just talking at the same time.
Go for it.
When Vlad is streaking, this team is the best that it ever is.
Right.
That's plain and simple. Like even last year when he went on that run where he was just hitting everything, that was when the Jays were at their best.
Right. And then he cooled off the last 2 weeks, and the Jays weren't good. Obviously, yeah. I think that if Vlad is good, it makes this lineup free and unbelievable. Because, like, I think Teoscar we know is going to be streaky. Lourdes we know is going to be streaky. But Simeon could be streaky. But like, if he's a consistent piece, then that changes everything.
Yep.
Because this team's got to beat teams 8-6 with this pitching.
Yep.
And you know they might. NFL. Russell Wilson apparently wants out. He wants out, but doesn't want out. But hey, Seahawks, if you're gonna trade me in whispers, you better make sure they're these 4 teams that are synonymous franchise in the Saints, Raiders, Chicago, and Cowboys. Off the top of my head, I think I got them.
I heard.
Yeah.
Raiders, Jets and fucking
No.
Dolphins were in there.
Dolphins
the three I
wasn't
heard from
there.
Bleacher Report.
No,
but
from Schefter,
was it?
the only teams he would consider are the Cowboys, Saints, Raiders, Bears. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
See if I can...
You know, that's I don't think that they trade it. I saw PFF did a mock trade. They were the 2 first-round picks that they have this year, a future first, and Quinnen Williams, who they took 2 years ago. Would you
That's
take
for the Jets, right?
for the to the Seahawks for Russell Wilson? I don't understand if you're the Jets, why you're doing this. You're not a good team, even with Russell Wilson. So what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
You're giving up your future and your best defensive player. Like, why? I think that a lot of the only team that makes sense to trade for, like Miami, they're a young team, a young defense. Like, they make sense to trade for Deshaun Watson because they can absorb losing the future pieces. I don't know if there's a team that can. The Bears getting Russell Wilson is interesting because they have a good defense, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna sound like a homer.
No,
Carolina would be wild.
Yeah, but Carolina does. I don't think they're good enough on defense.
They had a
They're
respectable
young
defense.
is the thing. They were. I think they could use 1 or 2 more pieces, and they're young as hell. They were the youngest defense in the league last year, which is insane. But they do have pieces like Burns and Chin.
They were the 18th ranked defense.
Fucking back there. And the youngest overall, though, is what I'm saying. Like, they had more rookies than any other team in the league, and still were the 18th ranked defense. It's not bad.
Yeah, Miami was
on top of the fact that Teddy never put them in fucking. What's that?
Miami's a significant. They're a top 5 defense. Like,
yeah,
we're
but
talking
they also
about
have
different
pieces that we don't.
That's what I. But so that's what I.
But like, I mean, Miami's got Tua and stuff, and like they have a quarterback. Carolina can use a quarterback. I mean, yes and no.
Yeah, like.
Do you have more faith in Teddy or Tua?
Tua.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, Carolina could probably use him more.
Oh, there's no doubt they'd use him more, but like I'd rather Carolina get Deshaun, I think, than Russell Wilson, because Russell's got like.
Hey, I'm not opposed to that either. Don't get me wrong. Either one sounds great. Like, they're both all-star quarterbacks. I'm happy with either one of them manning that team. I think either one of them makes the team better.
Let's end off the pod with the Tiger Woods news, because like that, it was. I think it's surprising to see like the level of athlete that it takes to not necessarily stop time, but like to stop news, like. If we're like using it by like the news, if we're using it by the barometer of like, what does CNN break to in like breaking news? They had like wall-to-wall coverage for the Tiger crash. Like I remember like when Michael Jackson died, that was a huge thing. When Kobe died, like that was a huge. Yeah. Tiger is the star level that he possesses is
insane.
It's unbelievable.
He's one of the most famous athletes of all time. In terms of just pure fame.
Right. Because he's an anomaly. Like we literally never saw a person of color do what he did, and he like in golf to where it's a white sport, and he changed the sport forever. It inspired a ton of people. So yeah, it was crazy to see like the updates and stuff. And everyone
on
that
the
came
back burner of the situation is his golf career in general. If he comes back and plays again.
Go for it.
I think if anyone's gonna do it, it's Tiger Woods.
Right.
Like I know his back's an issue and he's going through a lot of surgeries here, but like golf's a game you can play until the day you die. He's still playing at a level that he's among the best in the game at times. If anyone can come back, it's a man that puts that much time and effort into his body and just created this absolute temple of a human being. I think if anyone's going to do it, it's him.
Correct. But to the people that are just like, oh, what does it mean for his golf career? What is it like? I think it's I don't think we should be talking about that like right now because like
his golf career's been done.
Like, hold on,
his
he won the
accolades
Masters
weren't going
2
to
years
get
ago.
any better.
He won the Masters 2 years.
Yeah,
ago.
no, I get it.
won
Like
the
he
Masters
was
in
still.
2019. That's what I mean.
He was still going to win tournaments, and like he'd
long
win
we've been
here and
saying
there.
that?
But like,
No. So we shouldn't be having this conversation, in my opinion. Like people shouldn't be having this conversation of like
his legacy is already cemented.
No. But Tiger needs like it's not of whether he's gonna be good or whether he's gonna be golfing. Like that is so far away right now. The dude just had multiple.
That's what I mean. It's on the back burner.
He can't even walk. Like what are we?
Yep.
What are we discussing here?
Yep.
We should just wish him well. His kids,
the police on scene straight up said we're surprised he made it out alive.
Yeah.
In the media, they're
like,
normally when you see a crash like these, you don't normally see the person walk out alive.
Right.
I'm like, that's wild.
What was
and the fact that he's
term they used
seems
for
okay.
Like the pliers or something.
Oh, the jaws of life.
Get the car.
The jaws of life. Yeah.
The jaws of life, rather.
Yeah. So
like it's pretty scary.
Crazy.
It's fortunate to hear that he's at least, alive. Obviously,
by
he's
all
got a
means,
tough road ahead of him.
By all accounts,
he's
he's
a
fine.
fighter. And I think just the way I think he'll approach this is the same. He'll come back in terms of his health.
Right.
So, wishing him all the best.
Yeah,
Yes, that new.
Like we just like at this point, we should just want Tiger to be a great dad. Like just be able to be healthy and just wish him.
There's
well.
gonna be a
golf
Woods
doesn't
at the
matter.
top of the list in 10 years. Who cares whether it's Tiger or not? There's gonna be another Woods there in a little bit. Give it 5-10 years.
I think that's it for this week. We'll be back next week. Maybe I'll post the podcast from last week. We'll see. But we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.